Welcome to Mysteries Unraveled.
If you type speed of light into Google, you'll get this figure, which will likely blow your mind. Let's plug that into Google Earth and see what comes up. You won't believe the results. Of course, you'll brush it off as coincidence, but think about this. The Great Pyramid is astonishingly synced with the true north, considerably more so than the best efforts made by contemporary scientists. The direction known as true north is the one that always heads towards the North Pole. The discovery that the prehistoric builders of the Great Pyramid did not have compasses adds to the level of surprise we feel. Is it still a coincidence in your mind? Think about it. The Great Pyramid's sides are entirely aligned with the equator, and the three pyramids of Giza are perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. These pieces of evidence suggest that the builders of the perfectly straightest building on Earth were not some essential old society using rudimentary methods. Instead, they were very bright workers who followed the lead of mysterious wisdom. Despite our best efforts, we have yet to be able to solve the riddle of who built the pyramids and why they were built. However, the ancient necropolis of Zayat el-Aryan, just 5 miles southwest of the Giza Plateau, may offer the key to solving one of history's greatest mysteries. This is the Layer Pyramid in Zayat el-Aryan, the location I'm referring to. In 1839, Perring examined the pyramid for the first time and wrote a detailed description of his findings. Later, in 1896, Morgan inspected it more and discovered the descending entrance passageway. But it wasn't until approximately 1900 that Italian artist, restorer, and archaeologist Alexandra Barsanti developed an interest in the building. Having served the Egyptian Antiquities Service for decades, Barsanti was no ordinary archaeologist. His big break came in 1891 when he located Akhenaten's tomb. At first, he believed the standard archaeological theory that the site had never been a fully built pyramid and had been abandoned after the king who had ordered its construction had died. On his second visit, though, he realized something unique and revised his opinion of the building's significance. Barsanti chose a less beaten path that took him across an elevated plateau, away from the main road along the desert's edge and back to Giza. Something caught his eye from this vantage point. About 1.5 miles north of the Layer Pyramid, the ground appeared scattered with large granite pieces and the remains of granite powder commonly left behind throughout its rock construction. Although Egyptologists have been researching Zayat el-Aryan since the 1830s, they only recorded the somewhat unremarkable Layer Pyramid until recently. He went to Giza and organized a group of 50 people to investigate the site the next day. In barely 2 days, Barsanti confirmed his suspicions. A massive rectangular structure lay buried beneath the surface. As Barsanti and his crew dug deeper, they found that the building they had initially thought was a rectangle was a massive pit made of limestone. The excavating team eventually unearthed a massive 30-ton pink granite block, culminating in a series of interconnecting stones. In February of 1905, this enormous slab appeared to mark the bottom of the pit, perhaps as the basis for some pavement. Pink granite was more valuable and far more challenging to deal with. The ancient Egyptians probably didn't use it on the sly. This bolstered Barsanti's conviction that the place must be extraordinary. In Barsanti's mind, they were very close to finding the entrance to a vast underground kingdom filled with tombs and unimaginable wealth. While his team was still digging, they uncovered a discovery that was the most remarkable of all the finds. A large round vat made of pink granite and polished to a mirror-like gloss. This one-of-a-kind artifact measured a full meter and 5 centimeters in depth. Remarkably, this vat was fashioned from one of the concrete pieces that lined the bottom of the hole. Aside from its unusual circular shape, the vat's polished, shiny sides are also noteworthy. He realized someone had gone to great lengths in the past to protect it. On top of the clay that was evenly dispersed across the vat's lid, a thin layer of lime had been spread. This setup prevented the vat from contacting the stacked limestone slabs above it. In addition, the limestone pieces were laid beside each other systematically, creating a barrier around the priceless sculpture. Still, Barsenti couldn't help but wonder why everybody was so cautious. What was so special about this vat that it needed such elaborate protection? The vat, Barsenti was adamant, was the source of the answers to the puzzles. Barsenti and his crew began lifting the lid with trepidation and excitement. When they finally managed to pry it off, however, their expectations were dashed. There were no priceless relics or painstakingly maintained riches to be found. You see, he saw a thin black ribbon around the circumference of the vat's interior. He'd hypothesized that the wand substance was the dried-up remains of a liquid sealed inside the vat as a gift or libation many years ago. This odd detail amplified the mysteriousness of the vat. Barsenti disproved the theory that the tank was an abandoned tomb. Barsenti and his crew uncovered the intricately carved stairway at the northern end of the pit, leading steeply upwards. These steps seemed too ornate to be used by common laborers, and instead might have led to private quarters or been used in some ritual. Then, on March 31, 1905, a remarkable event occurred, as if the stars aligned to reveal the site's secret. The crater filled up after a strong storm dumped nearly 3 meters of rain on the desert. Remarkably, the pit's water level plummeted by a whole meter in just a few hours. After the storm had passed, water seepage into hidden underground rooms under the pit, Barsenti asserted confidently. Even with their increased effort in digging the site, they encountered some serious difficulties. The block's massive size and weight, along with their tight mortar seal and complex interlocking design, presented insurmountable challenges. In late 1906, Barsenti's funds ran dry, forcing him to abandon the excavation. He spent years convincing everybody who would listen that he was on the cusp of a groundbreaking discovery and pleading for more cash to get him there. Barsenti was able to raise the money he needed in 1911. He didn't get the desired outcome despite his team's best efforts. Once again, the money ran out before the mystery was solved. Barsenti needed to look for a new patron anywhere in the world. However, exploration in Egypt halted due to World War I, which hindered his intentions. Sadly, Barsenti lost suddenly in 1917 at the young age of 59. After he passed away, Egyptologists stopped trying to uncover the mystery surrounding the location. Many explanations have been proposed over the years for why the Great Pyramid was built. In the 1960s, Edward Kunkel introduced a revolutionary hypothesis. Kunkel wrote his seminal work, Pharaoh's Pump, which caused waves in Egyptology. When it was first released in 1962, he theorized in his book that the Great Pyramid's underground tunnels and chambers were part of a massive water pump used to irrigate the surrounding desert. Kunkel hypothesized that the pyramid housed 2 pumps, one below ground in the mysterious subterranean chamber and another above ground in the 2 higher rooms. Using the pyramid's north and south shafts, the combined output of these pumps would produce 2 streams. Unsurprisingly, many people were skeptical of Kunkel's explanation. Nevertheless, engineers, free from the constraints of traditional Egyptology, began to examine Kunkel's concepts with a more critical eye. While Kunkel's 2-pump idea might have failed, they realized a ram pump might. A ram pump is an essential device used for generations to move water from one point to another. It consists of just 2 moving parts and uses the force of gravity to do its work. Could the builders of the Great Pyramid have built a ram pump of such massive proportions? The puzzle of Zoyat El Arian has finally been solved. Some have hypothesized that the location wasn't a half-built pyramid, but rather an outflow area where water poured from the Great Pyramid was directed. It was built as a reservoir for water pumped from below the earth. Some have hypothesized that an oval tub sealed with clay and lime may have been the source of a water supply. To prevent leaking, it is possible that the tub was sealed when the pump was not in use. Limestone blocks were thrown in there over time, making the pit look like it had been used to bury a spring. An ancient civilization's underground irrigation system could have reached as far as Zoyat El Arian and been powered by a massive pump. A maritime engineer dedicated much of 1999 to demonstrating this idea. It turned out to be John Cadman. Inspired by Kunkel's book, he built a miniature pyramid replica. With all his hydraulics expertise, he zeroed in on the subterranean chamber to see if it might be utilized to pump water. He began working on his prototype in July 1999, sourcing water from a local river. He finally got his model to pump water after several failed efforts. That the Great Pyramid could function as a massive water pump was demonstrated to Cadman without any reasonable doubt. He claimed the Great Pyramid subterranean chamber builders had a thorough comprehension of their project and carried it out on purpose. As Cadman dug deeper into his investigation, an unexpected finding emerged from his working model. The pump's vertical compression wave could be felt 20 feet distant through the ground and heard from over 100 feet away while being contained within a concrete enclosure. This breakthrough caused a paradigm shift in thinking. If the Great Pyramid's subterranean chamber generated pulse waves, the waves would have reflected off the granite of the higher chambers and corridors, causing ionization in the atmosphere. This action would have produced an electric field. In essence, the pulses generated by the underground pump would have interacted with the granite of the pyramid, resulting in the generation of electricity. Thus, Cadman proved the Great Pyramid could be used as a water pump for irrigation in ancient Egypt and indicated it might generate electricity. Researchers have concluded that tunnels connect the Zoyat El Arian pit to the Great Pyramid. There's a chance these tunnels weren't built for irrigation after all. Instead, they could have carried electrically charged water, which could have been used to power ancient cities, potentially linked to the banned ancient technology buried there. The site's investigation was abruptly halted and placed in a heavily guarded military zone. Zoyat El Arian may conceal proof of ancient Egypt's technological prowess with electricity. The revelation of these long-lost facts could radically alter our view of human development. As we connect the dots, piece by piece, a new narrative emerges, one that challenges conventional notions of the past and propels us toward a profound appreciation for the ingenuity of our ancestors. Uncovering the hidden truths of ancient Egypt's advanced technology ignites a thirst for further exploration, inspiring future generations. Our journey into the past does not end here. It serves as a testament to the resilience of human curiosity. Let us embark on this thrilling voyage together, driven by the desire to unlock more enigmatic secrets and illuminate the brilliance of the civilizations that came before us. As we continue to bridge the gap between ancient civilizations and our modern world, what new avenues of exploration and research should we pursue? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon to join our community of truth seekers. Thank you for being a part of our quest for knowledge. Until the next revelation, keep exploring, questioning, and discovering.